She's got Banks in the Moonaway. She's got Banks at break. And look at Baszler. Baszler using Baszler to win. Bayley takes out.
Welcome everyone to Belle. This is DS.
And the Sriracha Muchacha, Paloma Star. We just did this.
I know, we just did this. This weekend is Payback. That's crazy.
I know, so fast. Has it ever happened before? I'm sure it has. This was like, you blink and then there's a new pay-per-view.
Let's get right into Payback because, I mean, it was supposed to be Evolution, but it ended up not being Evolution. And it was Payback, but actually, I like this pay-per-view, so let's get right into it. So starting from the pre-show, the Riott Squad versus the IIconics. We're going to talk about what happened to IIconics on Raw a little bit later. Let's start with this match. Were you excited when this match was announced?
No, because they've been wrestling each other for the past 2 months, and this was for no reason. I would have been a little bit more excited if it was the number one contender match, or I don't know, for a reason other than like, let's wrestle again. Like if it was for like, obviously it can't be for the tag titles then, but maybe a number one contender match or like an upper hand in something. But I feel like there was like no reason for it. I know they've been feuding, but I feel like there was no like necessarily added stipulation for it to be on a pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Like I feel like this should have been either a stipulation match or a number one contenders match or something. That This just felt like another Raw match for them.
Also, the other thing about them is that the KO show, they had a huge storyline progression. And after that, they were in the rounds.
Like, they were going backwards for it. Like I thought this was already established that they were cool, they were friends, and everything. And then now we're like, wait, what? Did y'all forget you guys are friends?
They literally had same angle that was recycled for every single week, but they came out with the matching gear,
which was super cute. I loved it. It was very clueless.
I thought it was very cute. I thought it was like a little Brie Bella moment.
I can see they're channeling their inner Brie mode.
But I was like thinking about this. So basically, Liv Morgan had part of Ruby in her outfit, so she put plaid on her. I didn't love that choice. I would have preferred if Ruby became more Liv.
Especially because of their dynamic.
New gimmick of Liv Morgan is her finding herself and be true to herself.
That girl who had let her friends tell her what to do and who to be and how to act, how to dress.
But for her to, again, take part of Ruby instead of Ruby taking more of her style, it's a regression of her character, like, visually.
And especially because, like, Ruby's the one that kind of, like, made the realization of, like, oh, I was the one that, like, felt so alone. I came back and I didn't recognize you. So she should have, like, been like, oh, let me be, like, the first one to extend a hand or be nicer or, like, how you said, like, absorb a part of her. Or not so much absorb, but, like, become a part of her. Because I feel like this is, like, oh, we're friends again. So I'm basically going to tell you what to do again and you're gonna be me again. That's a very good point too, how you said it was very they went back to what they were, not only with what they were weighing and each other, but in the match too.
Match started, and first thing that happened was that I guess Ruby Riott was thrown into Liv's knee. That caused another freaking friction.
Like I thought we were past this.
I thought you guys had a matching gear now.
That means that you guys went to a seamstress together, said we want this. You guys agreed on it. You guys know each other's measurements. This is a committed relationship now. This is not like no indie show where you randomly get tagged with somebody and you ask them, what colors do you have? And you look in your gear bag in hopes that you have that same color. No, this is a committed relationship now.
And then after this, Ruby like blind tagged Liv. So this friction angle came to the big moment where IIconics tried to fake Liv into thinking that Ruby hit her in the back.
And this would have made more sense if they had done this before the whole KO show deal.
And the best part is that Liv believed it.
Yeah. So much for gaining trust and being friends again. Like, you have matching gear now. I mean, I liked the tactics that IIconics used because that's very manipulative and heelish and IIconics wise. Like, I feel like it fits with their character and what they're trying to do. But I also feel like it was very weird placement in the storyline progression wise of things, especially like the match did start off hot, like boom, right away. And also I kind of figured that the IIconics were going to be a little bit more hard hitting or a little bit more vicious, or a little bit more serious, especially with that promo that they did at the beginning, because they did say IIconic, but they didn't do their signature cute little pose. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be like let's be serious IIconics, not like their usual ways. So her, Billie Kay pulling that was like, oh, I guess so much for being serious, because that's like, their usual iconic ways. I didn't mind it if this match was done before the KO show deal.
I don't know. It was the same thing that happened on Raw every week. It was just kind of sad. Well, the only thing that was different is that instead of being a 30-second match, it was like 9-minute match.
Yeah.
So stretched. Given that Ruby and Liv are two, I will say, better actors of the division, so like they were definitely trying to sell their emotion, but I was just not getting it anymore because I'm sick of it.
Yeah, totally. It's like, okay, moving on to the next thing. We get other friends now. What else are you guys gonna do? What are you guys like? I feel like that's already. You guys went back to that way too many times. Like, give us something new and fresh. Okay, we're established and friends. Jeez.
Finally, Liv made a big decision that she will still tag in. She will believe.
Yeah, it was good. I don't think it had like the same like cute little fire that she usually has, or that we saw that she had before she took that big break. But her comeback was good. It was fine, and I also like that she did her I don't know what she calls it, the off the ropes kind of stunner bulldog move. So I feel like I haven't seen that in a while. So I'm like, oh yay, it's there.
There was a slight slip up in the middle, but I think it was a fine comeback from Liv Morgan, and the finish was cute. Double knee and then the Riott kick. It was a cute tag team finisher.
Yeah. You see, they have matching gear, tag team moves, but they still can't trust each other. It just doesn't make sense.
I really hope they can like move on to the next stage, and I think they did. In the panel discussion, which was very bizarre. It was like JBL was blocking Liv the entire time. You could hear the exact moment where JBL heard that he needs to move, so he was just like.
He was like I'm surprised he didn't like sell it in his face either. Like.
This is the emotional line of this pay-per-view. I riot to live.
And I live to riot.
I riot to live.
And I live to riot.
I'm done. I'm done. Yeah, that was a lot. The living riot.
Yeah.
On paper, I like it because Riott Squad kind of insinuate that they are just
more
Riot's
than two
team.
people.
Well, that too, but they're like basically Riot's bitches. You know what I mean? Given that it's a living riot, it has a more equal vibe.
I always thought it was kind of weird that they were even called the Riott Squad, quite honestly. Like, I feel like we never really got an explanation for it. Like, so was Ruby Riott the leader? But I never really got that she was. I think she was the leader because they used her name. I don't know.
You don't remember all the riots they caused? Ketchup and mustard?
Ooh, so edgy. And I think one time they like tip over one table, or like they like didn't screw on the lid all the way. Oh man.
Overall, I think this match, whatever. I mean, I think we had a little progression, but we want to get out of here. Liv looked dumb, falling for the heels tactic.
Yeah.
You know, this is a pay-per-view review, but we have to talk about what happened on Raw the day after, because IIconics and Ruby Riott had a rematch, but this time loser no more.
All of a sudden.
And IIconics lost.
So IIconics are no more.
What the What the So we're going to talk about this again on a Saturday Live with Joey and Moxie, so that's coming. It's going to be a whole rant fest, but we're going to talk about it really quickly here, because I am livid, I am Confucius, I'm like, what the hell happened?
I don't mind it.
Oh, okay.
I don't mind it at all because I'm actually looking forward to see what happens. I mean, don't get me wrong. As we saw later on in Payback, whenever the tag titles are actually now hopefully going to be used as tag titles once again, I was like, oh, first thing I thought, I'm like, maybe the IIconics can have another run. But now that they're broken up, I was just like, oh, never mind. But I'm actually interested to see how they work as singles, because I feel like we've seen a lot of the IIconics together. I guess the timing is a little bit weird. That's the only thing I don't like. It's just like it was out of nowhere, and all of a sudden the losing team breaks up. Why didn't they have this stipulation at Payback?
Yeah, why not?
That would have made more sense. Pay-per-view, and like I said, it's a stipulation match or like number one contender something. I don't know. I just feel like this was just like, oh, okay. So I don't think I'm not so much of it happening. I'm so much more mad of the timing of it. But I am excited to see what they do as singles. The only thing I didn't like is that the commentary kept on building it up. Like, they've been friends since high school. They signed their contracts together the same day. Like,
I know.
Okay, they're still going to be friends. I don't think there's an asterisk on the contract of loser has to break up and you can never speak to them again. No, like they can still be friends. They just can't be a tag team.
I mean, also commentary was funny in that they're only really talking about IIconics because we don't really care if Riott Squad breaks up or not because they just kind of got together. I don't know. You must be excited about Peyton's single run, right?
Yeah, totally, for sure. Like she's definitely, I feel like the better wrestler, and I feel like Billie Kay is the better character. So I want them to both develop where the other one kind of excels at. So I feel like if they're on their own, they have to work. One of them has to work more on their character / Mike, and the other one has to work a little bit more on their wrestling. So this way they can be better, well-rounded wrestlers.
I mean, there have been rumors about Vince McMahon wanting to push Peyton Royce as a singles competitor, so this might be part of that plan. I'm worried what Bayley's gonna do. She might be going right into job reveal. I don't know. But the only thing that makes me upset and sad is that IIconics was like such a well-functioning team, and WWE hasn't even tapped into their potential at all.
Yeah,
I feel like,
I agree.
right? That's what I'm really sad about because they had so much potential. We've seen that in NXT. We've seen more of a comedy side on main roster, but on the wrestling side, we just haven't really tapped into it. So I'm just really disappointed that they never went into that gold mine. And finally, Sasha and Bayley dropping the title. I thought we could finally see some actual tag division being flourishing again.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of interesting teams down in NXT. Robert Stonebrand, Dakota and Raquel. We got Casey and Kaden. We've got some good teams down there. So I thought they're finally ready to give some attention to the tag division. And for IIconics, the most iconic tag team to break up is honestly so sad.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
we're going to dig deep into it in Saturday Live. And I'm also going to make a whole tribute video. It's going to be a whole thing.
Your tribute videos and little things that you do are always so great.
But let's move to the Tag Team Championship.
For an individual.
You know, I was living for this. I mean, I was kind of like,
loved it.
I love whenever Nia makes fool out of herself.
Apologize!
Something unthinkable happened where I thought this was a match of the night. I ended up loving this team Shania.
I love that name. Who was the one that came up with it?
Joey.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Before this match, we've seen another tension between Nia and Shayna, which I hated seeing it. But they came out and Nia was wearing a Tamina t-shirt.
Which we were confused about. We were talking through the live stream trying to figure out, is it Tamina's birthday?
I literally looked it up. I was like, is it Tamina's birthday? I mean, we found out at the end because they won. And I'm guessing she wanted to share this moment with her original tag partner, Tamina, not with Shayna. So she just
How
wanted to...
shitty is that? It's like inviting your ex-boyfriend to your wedding.
I think she just really wanted to share this moment with Tamina.
Hey, thanks for being my partner. We accomplished nothing, but hey, I have a great partner now. And we have some great gold.
I think this match had like two parts. First part
Yeah, I
was
didn't like
super
the
messy.
first part. I think we even talked about this. Like the first part, I think they were trying to maybe like get the momentum, find their timing / pacing. But after Shayna's babyface comeback, that's when it got really good. Then that's when I really started to like it. But the beginning was a little bit like wanky. I did kind of like how Shayna tapped herself immediately at the beginning of the match to kind of like establish like, okay, we get it. They're tag team partners that they don't like each other. I feel like WWE goes to that a lot too. Like, let's put two random people together that don't like each other, end up becoming friends, and end up becoming a great tag team. But I did like that. So like that kept up with like the storyline and the time purposes. But it was definitely like a little sloppy. Maybe it felt a little rushed at times, but after they got to that point, then it went smoothly and went great.
Watching this match, I actually think Nia and Shayna teaming up might be one of the better moves that WWE came up with because this match worked in a way where Shayna basically wrestled most of the match and Nia came in to kind of become the tank. Shayna's style is so unique, and even the face Shayna, the way she worked with Sasha and Bayley was so fresh.
It was.
Shayna's really unlike anyone when it comes to her wrestling style, so I really, really love that. Also, like using Nia in a limited way that shows her dominance, but doesn't necessarily have to put her out the entire match where she has to run everything, which showed some of her weakness before. I think it showed each one's best parts.
Oh, I 100% agree. And I think this is when you make good wrestlers great, is whenever you kind of hide their weaknesses and emphasize their strengths. Like, for example, I suck at jumping. I cannot throw a drop kick to save my life. I could drop kick the shit out of your shin. So I'm not going to throw drop kicks. But what I can do is like basement drop kicks and low drop kicks and stuff like that. So why would I do something that I know I'm not good at? Or why would I try a move that I know I can't do well? So like, why would you have Nia in the whole match where you know she not necessarily excels at, or at least not yet, but instead have her in spurts where she can, you know, because those spurts that she was in, I felt like was still a little bit more intensity. I still want to see a little bit more from her, but I feel like if it's like those shorter spurts where she just comes in and clears house, I feel like she has more time to be more intense and more bring that, you know, that girl from her from that. So I think they did a really good of setting it up, because why wouldn't you put your better wrestler in the ring most of the time?
Leading to the ending of this match, I think it got so excited where Sasha did the frog splash, Bayley to Belly and Shayna. I thought it was going to end there.
Me too. 100%. I thought, I was like, oh, all right, that's not the finish.
And just the look that Sasha and Bayley shared at that time, I was like, wow. The storytelling between them has been really awesome too.
It's the little things that made the storyline so good. It's like the looks that they exchange, or the looks that when Sasha was talking about somebody and she was looking at Bayley's title, like those glances that they exchange, even like the posts on social media. It's the little things that has made the storyline so well.
We have to talk about this legendary finish, I'll say.
Oh my God.
So Shayna puts Muda Lock on Sasha Banks. At the same time, put Bayley in a Karafuda clutch. She uses Sasha's arm to choke Bayley out.
Totally. So creative. I want to shake the hand of the agent or person that came up with that, because you never know, it might have been somebody in the match. But it's just so crazy to me, because in wrestling, I always feel like everything's been done. You've seen it all. Like, there's just reused again. So whenever you see something fresh and new like this, that's when I get excited. And I'm like, yes, that's awesome. That's a great idea. Not only was it new and fresh, but it actually plays in perfectly with the storyline of Sasha and Bayley. Give me 2 years and I still couldn't come up with a better finish than that. And it also goes with Shayna's style. Like, I feel like that's something Shayna would do. And why wouldn't she do? Like, if Nia did that, no, I don't think that would be believable. Because if it was Shayna, it's definitely believable because of the storyline with Sasha and Bayley. Definitely believable. It was great. So I'm not even mad that they won, because quite honestly, that finish was amazing.
It was just so technically amazing. And you're right. The storyline element of Sasha choking Bayley at the same time, I cannot believe. Because the SummerSlam and Raw after, there were some confusing parts. Storyline devices were subtle. But this was just so good. Obvious. There's so many things that can come out of this. Bayley's going to blame Sasha for choking her out. Sasha's going to blame Bayley for tapping out.
It stretches their storyline a little bit more, but still adding something else into it. Like, it's just not like, oh, here we're still going at it again. They still haven't turned on each other, but now they have yet, like you said, another thing to basically bitch about.
And you know, Shayna has had some hard time on the main roster. Mm-hmm. She was pushed very hard. She literally defeated everyone in Elimination Chamber. It didn't work though. Like, people were really averse towards her. This odd couple thing with Nia Jax and this finish, it just put her back in that stardom, and it's totally amazing.
Yeah, I agree. It's working. And can we talk about Nia's reaction when they won?
Great individual.
Love it.
That was everything.
Continues in the ring.
That's the most entertaining I've seen Nia be in a really long time. If she gives me more of that, I would love it. And like, that's like, even if she brings that intensity, how like intense she was when she won, it was ridiculous. I laughed. And I think it just looks funny because she is like, she's strong, powerful, and intimidating. And she's over here like acting a fool basically because she's so excited that she won. And, you know, like, it was really funny. And like, Shayna was just like, oh, okay. So I'm so glad there was a GIF about it already. Almost right away, there was a GIF about Nia. And Nia is the whole mood. So I like that. I like that reaction. It was ridiculous and it worked.
Just the contrast with Shayna Baszler, I think it works. I mean, the odd couple, you have to be super contrasty, and like, it works. Nia is very funny. I think she's
you have said that before.
She's super funny person.
I mean,
I'm glad the WWE didn't box her into that scary monster person. And, you know, we've been doubting her intensity for a while, but I think pairing up with Shayna, I think this can work.
Yeah,
Is this working?
Weird. The thing is, I still want her to be that big, scary monster person with the intensity.
Yeah.
Like, like you don't necessarily, everybody thinks like, oh, you just because she's like like taller and stronger and bigger, she has to be into this box. No, she could still be this intense, awesome, strong person and still be as something else. Like, it's not just one dimensional. She could be many things. So I'm glad they showed that part of her.
And also, this is kind of a team that just happened, so that might be something that people are still upset about. But you know what? Like it or not, they are both huge players in the division, and for them to finally take the title away from Sasha and Bayley, and them running this division as, I guess, I'm hoping temporary champions, that kind of gives the star power to this division and the feud they will have soon.
I think a lot of people will probably are mad or will be mad because they did lose the titles. But I think right now it's for the bigger picture. I'm just glad that tag titles will hopefully now be in place and be defended and be more prominent than they have been in a while. Because I think for the longest time they weren't. And they were, and then they weren't, and then they were, and then they weren't. So I'm just happy that the tag titles were taken away from them to have opportunities for other women.
I guess this also means it's the last of golden role models being on all shows.
Yeah.
Which is a little sad because they are so entertaining, but give them some rest.
Totally. Yeah, they deserve it. They've been working so hard this whole time.
I think this is a good time to finally start to build their actual one-on-one feud.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, so that is Payback.
It was good. I mean, I felt a little rawish just because there was a lot of vignettes, a lot of backstage interviews, a lot of like stuff like that. So it just felt like it could have been worse. I'm not mad at it.
I mean, I personally felt like when that finish happened, my constipation ended. It was, it was like, I popped so hard. I would have been so pissed if this ended up being another tease. So I'm glad that Payback actually meant something for the storyline of the women's division.
Look at the bigger picture, people. It'll be fine.
So before we wrap up, so we made this announcement on Community Tab where we will be starting live review shows starting this Saturday.
Yay, can't wait. It'll be like Saturday morning cartoons, but with us.
I think everyone received this by today or tomorrow. We all got the ring. We'll go through everything that happened in the weekly shows, WWE, NXT, AEW, and if we like it, we will ring the bell. And if we don't, we won't. Maybe we'll bell.
I'm super excited, right? I know a lot of people are wondering, yes, the live videos will be put on the channel afterwards. So just because you don't catch us live doesn't mean you will be missing out on the videos. So they will be on the channel. And I know a lot of people are probably hearing this for the first time. If not, check out the community tab. But I'm pretty excited for this new switch up. And yes, thank you so much for your hard work over these many years. I know it's a lot of hard work, editing, doing all this stuff, and working a full-time job. So I'm happy to switch things up, see how this goes. And you never know the cool dynamic because we're going to be all four of us together, doing it at the same time. We're not just going to be split up. And you never know who might stop by as a special guest with their own point of view. So I think this new format brings in a lot of new ideas that could be different that we wouldn't necessarily see with this format. And we'll still be here for the pay-per-views just like we're doing right now.
The live format will be replacing currently edited format of the weekly shows, but as Paloma said, we'll still be doing this refined, edited version for all the pay-per-views for AEW, NXT, and WWE. And, because I am saving literally tons, 10-15 hours of my life every week, I can actually spend the time to making more interview videos, top 5, collaborations, all those videos that you love.
And sleeping, because actually living and sleeping because you're crazy and don't go to bed till like 3 in the morning because Jess is too busy being an amazing person and editing all the videos. So I'm excited that you'll be getting some sleep.
Honestly, I did not know how I did that for the last 2 years, but my bags are all the way here. This is all concealer, Fenty Beauty. But thank you so much for all the warm words. I'm so excited for this new change of the bell, and we'll see you this Saturday for our first live review. Okay, we'll see you there. Paloma, where can we find you?
You can find me at Paloma Star on Instagram and Twitter. And DS, where can we find you?
You can find me at DS Shin and Ring the Bell DS on Twitter. All right, bye.